the palette looks, and this is the outside packaging. It's this really nice kind of yellow, very tropical. You definitely get that feel, and it is supposed to be inspired, for those who don't know, it is supposed to be inspired by the colors and the vibrancy of the Caribbean country of Cuba. Boom. Cuban food is bomb. So just off the rip that I'm fat, and just off the strength that I like Cuban food, this palette is about to be and I tried, as you can see, I tried to like match the floral kind of vibrancy that one would think of when they think of like the Caribbean, or when they think of a country like Cuba. So like I said, this is how the outside packaging looks. When you open it up, it comes with 8 colors, which I really like. So the Reina del Caribe Volume 1 palette, it comes with 8 different eyeshadow shades. It looks like it has some shimmers in there. It definitely has some mattes, which I'm really like. And I see about 2 brown girl friendly transition shades, and I think I'm gonna actually dip into them now that I'm looking at the palette and kind of deciding on what colors I want to use. The entire palette retails for $28, so with 8 shadows and $28 is the total price, you're paying roughly about $3.50 per shadow, which I think is a really great price. So let's just hope that the color payoff and the pigmentation is a nice one. This palette features 8 highly opaque shades reminiscent of the beauty and culture of Cuba. Dive into the pigments and pearls found in the intense metallics, or ground your look with the warm richness of the creamy mattes. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch all of the shades for you guys, just so you guys can see how the colors look, and so I can kind of get a feel on how they feel in terms of how creamy they are, or do they feel kind of dry and chalky, because eyeshadows that are kind of dry and chalky tend to be really hard to work with. So let's see what we got. So the first color I'm gonna try and swatch for you guys is La Costa. It is described to be a high shine shimmer, pearly champagne with pink highlights. Oh! Can we stop for a second, guys, and appreciate that? Oh, the freaking phone. Can we talk about how pigmented this is? That's just one swipe, guys. Just one swipe on La Costa, and it's described to be a pearly champagne with pink highlights. My camera and my artificial lights aren't doing it justice, but it definitely is a pearly kind of pink. It's a little more on the yellow side, but I can see where they get like the pink idea from in terms of trying to get that pearly kind of color. It feels really creamy. It doesn't have a chalky texture to it, because I know a lot of shine or metallic-y kind of colors have a lot of like chalky kind of residue feels to them. This does not. This is creamy. It went on smooth, and it feels awesome on the skin. Next we have El Malecon, which is over here. It is described to be an extreme high shine metallic, true gold with rich olive undertones. Y'all, we about to kill it. Oh! Same kind of thing in terms of texture and in terms of feel. It's just as buttery. It doesn't have a chalky texture to it, because like we all know, those metallic colors tend to be really chalky sometimes in lower end or non-high-end brands, or like startup brands. So this for $28, I'm only on color 2, guys, and they have me in my feelings. Next we have Varadero, which is described as an extreme high shine metallic, stunning deep royal blue or teal. So it's this color right here next to, or right under La Costa. So I'm going with that. Oh, guys, come now, man. That is gorgeous. Next we have Celia, which is, just off of looking on the palette, Celia is this color right here, and my favorite color is green, and it's the same kind of looking emeraldy deep forest green. So Celia is described as a high shine shimmer, valid turquoise with gold reflex. It looks green to me, but it's described as a turquoise color. Oh yeah, come now, y'all. And just physically my pinky is smaller, so just imagine. Just imagine. I have to get a baby wipe to wipe off my fingers, because I want to finish swatching the other, I want to go into the mattes for you guys. I don't only want to do the metallics. So the first matte that comes in the collection is called Coco Taxi, or Coco Taxi if you say it with an American accent. Coco Taxi is described as a velvet matte yellow toned bright orange. Alright. Okay, I knew that was gonna be like that. So just off of dipping into the palette with my fingers, I definitely got chalk. All types of chalk in terms of, yeah, that's And it's barely showing up on my skin. Yeah, it's definitely not picking up and giving me much compared to what I got with just one swipe with the metallic shades. Cocoa Taxi was definitely a little underwhelming, this kind of color right here, and I was really excited to use it as a transition shade. We're still going to try and use it and see what we can work out of it, but just off of a swatch, definitely underwhelming. Next we have Tropico. It's another velvet matte in the collection, and it is described as an intense burnt orange. Right here, let's see what Tropico. Okay, so Tropico feels, see, Cocoa Taxi felt very chalky, but Tropico did not give me that feel at all, and just off of, see, look at that, much more pigmentation. Second to last, we have Guantanamera, which is another velvet matte. It's described as a deep raspberry burgundy. I'm gonna take my clean ring finger. Guantanamera is not as smooth as Tropico. Tropico is still the smoothest and the creamiest feeling out of all the mattes that are in this collection. Lastly, we have Cafecito, which is this brown color in the collection. It's the deepest, so that is indeed the deepest shade. It's the last velvet matte, and they just have it described as a deep coffee color. Just take a little bit on that finger. Alright, so that's definitely a nice brown. My pinky didn't do it enough justice. It definitely felt creamy like Tropico, much better than Guantanamera in terms of feel, and it picked up on my skin, which is a really good thing because a lot of browns don't pick up on my skin tone since I'm of the darker hue. So I went ahead and zoomed in for you guys so you can get a closer look on how I'm going to use the colors. So I'm going to try, I really wanted to use Cocoa Taxi as like my transition shade in my crease. I'm really not sure that it's gonna pick up considering how bad the swatch was, but I'm going to try and use it anyways, and I'm using just a really loosely packed fluffy blending brush from, this one is from Shimmer Glam. Also, if you want to know about my base, I'll have all the products listed in the description box, and if you want to see how I do my base, I'll also link my everyday makeup routine for you guys. It's the same routine, so I didn't, you know, think to record it. So I'm just gonna dip into Cocoa Taxi. So I just wanna, okay, so it's there. Don't get me wrong, it's definitely there. Okay, it's gonna do what I want it to do. But there's a lot of dust, a whole lot of dust. All this dust is just confirming all the chalkiness that I felt when swatching the color. So I'm just going to put a little bit, and just for the sake of matching my eyes, I'm going to do the same to the other eye, but I'm not sure it's going to do what I want it to do now that I'm trying to build up the intensity. I'm actually going to switch brushes and see if that helps actually with building up the intensity. So I'm taking another fluffy blending brush, but this one is a little more densely packed. So let's see if that actually helps with building up some of the intensity. Yeah, there's a considerable amount of fallout happening in this pan. Really not liking that. I'm going to go back into the first brush that I was using because I think it may work better for the next color that I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of Tropico, which is that like heavily burnt orange color next to Cocoa Taxi, and I'm just going to like feather that out all over my crease area and a little outward. So the fallout is not only, whoa, this pigmentation is bomb. Can we talk about it? So before I was gonna actually talk about the pigmentation, one of the things that I didn't like, unfortunately, was that there's quite a bit of fallout in the pan. Ooh, look at that bad boy. You can just build it up to your desired intensity. So I'm going to actually go straight in, okay? Not even gonna like try and walk. We're just gonna jetpack it out. I'm gonna dive right into Cafecito, and I'm gonna try and focus the color mainly deep into my crease and on the outer parts of this halo area. Oh, Cafecito! You are picking up on the brush. The colors are picking up. It is taking a little bit of work to blend, but it's getting there. I'm not mad at it, but it definitely takes some work in terms of blending. So I will just keep that in mind. So just on some comments, the fallout is actually with all of the colors, like even dipping into Cafecito, the fallout is pretty evident. The mattes are a little tough to blend, which is a little discouraging only because if you are like me and you are semi-new still in terms of makeup and in terms of how long you've been doing makeup, this palette can be really hard to work with. I'm going to take this concealer brush here and just some of my favorite concealer. I'm just using some LA Girl Pro Concealer and I'm using it in the color Fawn, and I'm going to take that and just carve out a circular motion in the center of my eyeball. I think I'm gonna grab some of Celia. Oh, I'm so excited for you, Celia. Yes, come through, Celia. So I know this color is described as a teal color, but I don't know if it's just me, but I'm really getting green. It's blending really nicely onto the concealer, and it's definitely more of a buildable shine because I'm realizing that the more I add, or the more layers of the color that I add, the more shine and the more pigmentation I get out of it. I don't think I'm done. I think I'm gonna go even more extra in terms of how much color I can pack onto one eye look. So I am going to reach for Varadero, which is the blue color, or the more richly blue color that is next to Celia. And I'm gonna take kind of like a flatter, even smaller blending brush for your eyeshadow, and I'm gonna take this brush and try and place it on my bottom lash. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face and come back and give you my final thoughts on the palette. Okay guys, so this is the final look that I came up with. I just threw on these really fun earrings because I thought it went with the look in terms of like the frills. As for the palette, I'm rating this palette about a 7. I think it can be a solid 8.5 or 9. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot probably like 2 or 3 more looks with this palette because there are some colors in here that I didn't get to play around with, just considering the look. Negative to keep in mind, if you are going to purchase this palette, there is quite a bit of fallout, so I would consider that. Other than that, the pigmentation is great. Except for Coco Taxi. Coco Taxi is the only shade in here that was kind of wacky. It was kind of chalky and it was really hard to blend. Also, blending Cafecito, that darker color that I went in with after Tropico, it was hard to blend. The mattes were harder to blend versus the metallic, but on the other hand, I only used one metallic fully in terms of blending and in terms of shading into another color. But once I kind of put that extra elbow grease in there, I think the look definitely came out really nice, if you can see past my bangs. Alright guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, share with your peeps, and turn on that notification bell because I will be uploading at least one other look using this palette. I have some great looks planned for you guys and that I'm feeling a lot better because we all know in my last video I wasn't up to par. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your peeps. And until next time, you guys, peace.